everyone. This is a post-game report. It's Jake Harris here with Geraldine quarterback Jake Maddox. Jake, you had a tremendous ball game, man. I tell you what, you guys were just true and true. You stuck to your original football plan and coming in just.
Well, pretty much. We're just going to go with whatever they gave us. If they crowded the line, we was going to throw the bomb. If they backed up safety, we was going to run down the throat. Just whatever they gave us, was going to go with.
We was talking a little bit before the interview. We was talking a little bit about Dylan Cameron, the quarterback at Sylvania. Did it surprise you to see what kind of athlete he was, and did that surprise you guys on defense?
Well, yeah. We'd watched film on him. We'd saw him make some good plays, but he played tremendous tonight. He stepped up big time, and like I say, he's got a cannon on him. He's a great player. Well,
I'll tell you what, man. You were all over the field. We saw more of your arm tonight than we've seen the rest of the season. Was that anywhere in the game plan to air it out any?
We talked about it. It wasn't really the main game plan. The main game plan was give it to the backs, let them do what they do, but we'll do whatever works.
Well, I'll tell you what, one more question. Coming off back-to-back losses, how good does it feel to get the weight off your shoulders, and tell us how you feel about the rest of the season?
Oh man, it feels amazing. We lost 2 in a row, and it's been kind of a crappy feeling, but it feels good to come back to win. I think we're going to do good the rest of the season, coming off this win, carry momentum in.
Well, you're solid. The rest of your team is solid. Y'all are one of the hardest hitting groups. There was injuries left and right. I'm sure you guys need a chance to rest with that fast-paced offense that they were running. But, I hate it that happens. But I tell you what, it's Jake Maddox, quarterback for the Geraldine Bulldogs. Good luck to the rest of the season, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Take care. So we're going to bring in Ty and Rusty for our post-game report. Still got this mic going, so I'm probably double mic'd right now. I tell you what, that was kind of nice to get the post-game interview there with Jake Maddox. He's a tremendous athlete, man. And speaking of Jake Maddox, we got to go ahead and talk about, before this game is over, why don't we go ahead and talk about player of the game, because that's something we forgot last week. Ty, we're going to let you go first, man. Who do you think player of the game, or do you have any picks? Were you too busy icing the arms, man?
I think I would pick Sylvania, number 3, the quarterback. What's his name?
Dylan Cameron.
I pick him for player of the game because he made some great passes, but they had a lot of chances to catch them. I don't blame the quarterback, but
that's something we were talking about up in the booth while you were, busting out the million push-ups that you were doing. That Dylan Cameron maybe one of the best athletes that we've seen, and puts the ball exactly where he wants it. But I tell you what, he just does not have the receivers. Give me your pick for player of the game.
Now, I'm going to have to go on this one 100%. I'm going to go with number 3, Dylan Cameron. He went 12 for 31. I don't know if 3, 4, maybe 5 were his fault, overthrown receivers. Lots of drop passes by the receivers tonight. But he had 258 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight. Sylvania's looking for a leader. If he's my quarterback, I turn to him.
I graduated from Sylvania. It would be simple for me to say, of course, Dylan Cameron. And to be honest with you, I would love to. But when you're a leader, I don't think he found his leadership role until tonight. Player of the game, absolutely, but someone that was as clutch is I got to go with number 2, Jacob Boland. He put up tremendous, I believe, 160-plus yards, 2 touchdowns. So my pick's Jacob Boland, but with 2 votes to 1, just to show you guys I'm not showing favoritism, I believe Dylan Cameron is going to take on Player of the Week nominees. And that's definitely not a bad thing because, like you said, he was putting it exactly where he wanted it, but his receivers just couldn't come down with it. So Player of the Week nominees. Now, another thing that we have to talk about is not only did we forget to do Player of the Week last week, but we started doing something new, and that is the Southern Torch Power Rankings. Now, this is probably my favorite. I'll tell you what, before we do that, Rusty, give me the stat breakdown of how this game ended up and, what Geraldine and Sylvania both performed on their side of the ball.
Well, I gave my player of the game to Sylvania's quarterback, but a few stats on Jake Maddox, player you just interviewed. He had 115 all-purpose yards tonight. And, on the rushing side of the football, Tetherow with 81 yards and a touchdown. Your player, Brolin, with 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Davis coming out the gate tonight with limited snaps. He led the Bulldogs in the rushing game with 175 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That is unbelievable. We were talking about him having limited snaps. But was there any talk on the sideline, Ty, about him being limited in the game? Marcus Davis, number 6 for Geraldine?
No, not that I've heard of. I'm sure there was, but I wasn't listening.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a report we were given previously going into it. And injuries just kind of telling the story for Sylvania. I'll tell you what, they were dropping left and right. And it wasn't just people that, we didn't know. It was all-star lineman, number 70, Caleb Whitehead, going into the game, the man that I had picked. And then also, I believe it was number 24, Skyler who
Cheney.
we have no official report on, so nothing to report there. But that wheel off to the hospital. I tell you what, that's something I hate that for Skylar Cheney. But now that we got the stats out of the way, let me give one more breakdown of final scores. It was Locust Fork 28-18 over Crossville, and these are all finals. Keep in mind, we're definitely the last people in DeKalb County, probably in the entire state, still at a ball field tonight. But it was Locust Fork 28-18 over Crossville, 43-21 section defeats Eider, 47-0. Valley Head cleans up against Coosa Christian, and also 33-0. Pitching a shutout was Fort Payne. I tell you what, those boys needed that. They needed a shutout to get their confidence back. Plainview 42-7 over Brindley Mountain. So them stepping up, big game. Collinsville hanging on by a thread, 21-19 over Cedar Bluff, and it was Geraldine obviously winning here by a score of 35-14. Now that we've knocked the final scores out, we knocked the stats out, we've got things that we're waiting on to get produced, the TV show, things like that. But the newest thing to the torch is our power rankings, and that's something I want to go over right now, and I want everyone's take on this. I have a list of just all the teams. So give me your top three, Ty, of who you think 1, 2, and give me number 3 first, number 2, and number 1 of all the teams there on that list. And we're going to discuss what we all think our top 3 power rankings will be.
To me, I think 3 will be this team, Geraldine, number 2, 5, and number 1, Valley Head.
I can't argue with you much on that. Rusty, what do you got?
The sheet of paper I have right in front of me is pretty accurate. I mean, if I was to make a power rankings, this is probably exactly what I would put. So I'm going to have to go with the Geraldine in the number 3 spot, Valley Head in the number 2 spot, and 5 clinching the number 1 spot.
Okay. This is hard for me because
tied for first. I'm going to go 5 and Valley Head are tied for first.
Tied for first.
Tied for first.
Even though Valley Head's completely undefeated.
Yeah. Come on.
5's undefeated in the region.
Solid point. You have a good point with it. Okay, so this is hard for me. Geraldine and Plainview has obviously played each other, so that's one thing I have to give Geraldine the edge. So I have to put them in the 3 spot. But Plainview is a different ball team now than they were when they played Geraldine. So it's really kind of hard for me to do that. Both teams with 2 losses. Only because Geraldine beat Plainview heads up is the reason I'm putting Geraldine at number 3. But they are a tremendous ball team, tremendous athletes all over the field. 5 dropping to Geraldine at the beginning of the season. That was obviously our week 1 game. So I'll put 5 at number 2. But Valley Head is leaps and bounds number 1. Not even close to 5 right now. I feel like it's not just Valley Head winning ball games. It's how they're winning them. 40-0, 44-0, 40-3. Now I believe they gave up 17 points to Donahoe, I believe it was. Donahoe, and if I had to give a number 4 spot, I'd probably say Collinsville. Only 1 loss, but they're kind of their win margins aren't as big now as they were. But any thoughts to leave us with, Rusty?
That's about it, Jake.
That's about it, man. It wraps it up. It was a tremendous ball game going into the 4th quarter. Geraldine just kind of ran away with it. We had a blast tonight. Obviously, tonight would not have been possible without our sponsors, Sylvania Pharmacy and Crier Signs. Go see both of those guys. We love them. Thank you guys so much. But for Ty Trotter, the Trooper, Captain Russ T. Kirk, and me, Jake Harris, it's been a SouthernTorch.com production, and we have had a blast. Hope to see you next week. Valley Head. Not sure who they're taking on. I can't even remember off the top of my head, so that's bad for a sign-off.
Was it Christian?
I believe Jacksonville Christian is who Valley Head is going to be taking on. It's going to be a tremendous ball game. I say Valley Head blows them out. I mean, who knows? How can you go against history? But like I said, Trooper Trotter, Rusty Kirk, and Jake Harris for SouthernTorch.com. Final score here, 35-14. We'll see you next week at Valley Head.